Good evening. As a preliminary matter, this is John Regan, Chair of the Auburn Planning Board. Permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Ronald Brooks.
Aye.
Todd Corain.
Present.
Rakesh Nalin.
Present.
Chair doesn't seem to be here. Town officials and employees participating, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town Planner Adam Menard.
Here.
Rachel's not here tonight. Good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Planning Board of Tuesday, December 27, 2022, now called to order at 7 p.m. This meeting is being conducted both in person and remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, and extended on June 16, 2021. For this meeting, the Planning Board is convening in person and by remote access. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, call 1-312-757-3121 and enter access code 133-747-477. Or the public can join via computer at gotomeeting.com/join/133-747-477. The remote access information has been posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Auburn Cablevision. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight that is recording tonight's meeting? Being none. Accordingly, those members of the Planning Board, employees, and members of the public who participate remotely, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and please take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Please rise and join us in the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mic's a little closer because we're hardly hearing you.
All supporting materials that have been provided to members of the body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective, clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Chair of the Board, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the Chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to speak clearly and into the microphone in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the Planning Board members to please refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Turning to item 1 at 7 p.m., applicant Sparhawk Realty requesting a site plan approval under section 3.2.2.3 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a 2-building, 6-unit multifamily development and related site improvements at 404 Oxford Street, North Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 40, parcel 82. May I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. It is a vote. Is there anyone here representing Sparhawk Realty?
Brian Warner from WGA Design Group. Yeah. Is the board okay here?
Yep.
Okay. We're here on behalf of Sparhawk Realty for a project that was permitted back in 2016 and 17 for a multifamily 6-unit apartment project. Due to some unfortunate circumstances, the permits were allowed to lapse, so we're refiling for re-permitting of the project. I don't know if the board can see, but this is Horgan Skating Arena, so we're directly west of the arena. Frontage on North Oxford Street. Old North Oxford Street breaks off here, and Bryn Mawr Ave has frontage on Bryn Mawr Ave as well. Excuse me. Property is 2.1 acres roughly. There's a wetland area that bisects the property. We do have a filing in front of the Conservation Commission and ZBA. We've had our initial meeting and a site walk with the Conservation Commission. We have a follow-up meeting with them tomorrow night. This is our first meeting with the planning board. So as mentioned, the property contained a two-story, single-family home and a detached garage. It was unoccupied and kind of run down. The applicant received a demo permit for that, and that house and garage were taken down in 2017. So we've updated our as-built survey to show, the contours. The site's fully stabilized where they removed the house and garage. The Conservation Commission during those site walks was like, you can't even tell there was actually ever a house here. They did a good job of on the demo. So this is the layout that was approved. Well, 90% of it is the layout that was approved in 2016 by the ZBA and Conservation Commission. Then January 24th of 2017, it received the site plan approval from the planning board. So it's still 4 two-bedroom units, 2 single one-bedroom units. Each has a underground garage and a assigned parking space in the front, so it has 2 parking spaces per each. We had a department head meeting a month ago, and we received some feedback from the town. Mainly fire asked that we add a no parking, stripe lane here on the side. We've done that. And we most recently received, this was originally peer-reviewed by Quinn Engineering during the process in 2016-17. It was just re-reviewed by Graves Engineering. We received those comments on the 23rd. And one of the changes they requested was, it was approved with 18.5-foot parking space out front, which met zoning and was approved. But they suggested we should go to 21 feet. We did have enough room, so I think you have the response letter. We were able to add 2.5 feet of pavement on this edge and extend the driveways to 21 feet as requested. Other than that, the drainage, Graves is good with the drainage system design, which is subsurface infiltration for the roofs and driveway, along with a surface infiltration basin. So that was the only major change. It wasn't overly major. It's 2.5-foot strip of pavement. But we were also requested to add some additional snow storage areas, which we have done on the south side. And Graves also requested if there was room to put in a turnout. So we've added that at the southeast corner of the property before you go on to North Oxford Street. So there is a turnout added to the plan. Adding that small amount of impervious did require us to update the stormwater management plan. We've done that, and that's been submitted to the town and Graves as well. This plan shows the subsurface drainage under the parking for that is the large infiltration system and the small infiltration basin with a French drain along the side, and then the new turnout. So the property, as I said, is about 2.1 acres. About 0.65 acres would be the developed area. Generally within the areas that were cleared during the house, the former homeowners area. So those are the comments we've received. We've addressed those. Again, this was generally the site plan for multifamily apartment under the zoning bylaw. And like I said, unfortunately, the permit's expired, and so they're reapplying to re-permit the project. We do know there's the one change, aside from what we just responded to Graves, they would be under a major earthworks permit now, so that would have to be applied through to the DPW prior to any construction.
Does anyone from the audience have any comments or questions? No, you have to go up, excuse me, you have to go up to the microphone and identify yourself and your address, please. Yep.
Oh, cool. Hey, I'm Leo. I live across the street. I've been here for several years. How many family lives in these houses?
There's no one living in it now.
Oh, no, I mean, like, when you build the structure, how many families is it meant for?
These are two-bedroom units, and these are single-bedroom units, so.
Six units, 6 families. Sure. You can go behind the podium, you don't have to stand in
My
front.
name is Thomas. I live next door. So one of my biggest
I
concerns
need your
is...
name.
My name is Thomas. I live next door.
I need your last name, too.
402. I live at 402.
You have to give
My
us your,
biggest concern
excuse
is
me,
what direction are you draining towards?
excuse me. You have to give your first and your last name.
My first name is Thomas. My last name is Henriquez, spelled Hotel Echo November Romeo India Quebec Uniform Echo Zulu. I live at 402 Oxford Street North. My biggest concern is what direction is this draining towards? Because, you know, I don't know if you're aware of it or really concerned about it, but that whole area back there is full of groundwater. And you're shoving 2 giant structures that this property is not zoned for. It's zoned for a single-family dwelling. And you're shoving 6 families into a big concrete cinder block that you're shoving right into the ground. So I'm really concerned where the water's going, because if the surrounding properties start getting water in their basement, are you going to pay for it? Are you going to do anything about it? Because that whole area back there is saturated in groundwater, and you might be blocking a lot of groundwater. That property is zoned for a single-family dwelling, for what I understand. I'm kind of wondering how somebody obtained a special permit to be able to do this. Was it a backdoor deal? Did somebody's hand got greased to do it? Because, you know, and I know this isn't your company, this was the previous guy, or I don't really know, but this is concerning, especially about the property surrounding and where the groundwater is going to go towards, because that property all back there is saturated.
As far as the zoning goes, you have to go to the zoning board. As far as the recharge unit, we have not yet had the opportunity to read Graves' review. There may be something in there. We just got it tonight, so this isn't going to be voted on tonight. It'll be continued to the next meeting. So we haven't had time to do our due diligence yet to finish looking at the plans.
Oh, I don't have any animosity towards anybody or any individual.
I didn't say you
I'm
did.
just, you know, I have concerns, and I would like, you
Oh,
know,
absolutely, I
that.
understand.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Yes, the green lines on both sides here are wetlands. We know the area in the back is saturated. But this drops off, let's see, from the road, we're at about 580, and at the wetland back here, you know, it's dropping off 5 feet in that drainage. The drainage is going away from your house. And we have test pit data that was witnessed by the town and the engineers. We know groundwater in here we're well above it. We're meeting the DEP regulations. That was peer reviewed by Quinn and now recently Graves. So we know we're well above the groundwater in the development area. This does drain through an intermittent channel that's several hundred feet into the site. And this is an isolated wetland here, in between the abutter and us. But yes, this is saturated, that's flagged as a wetland area, we know that. But again, this is 5 feet in elevation above, so. And we do have 4 test pit data within the site itself. So.
Anyone else?
Fire up, oh, sorry, John.
Anyone else from the audience have any questions? Please identify and give your address, please.
Hi, my name's Dave Roy. I live at 410 Oxford Street, the house on the other side. My concerns too, that's saturated back there, but, I mean, in the spring, this is 2 or 3 feet deep here. Frogs, ducks, wood ducks, the whole thing. So now they're saying they're gonna drain the water this way, which is onto my property. My property comes way over, right to here. So, that, and a second thing, I read it over. Now, this is just apartments, right? The original thing was handicap, which I read in the thing, it says it requires 5 acres, so it's no longer handicap apartments, right? It just, it wasn't in the beginning. The first,
original developer was going to do 1 unit for his
oh,
handicap
okay,
daughter.
all right. Now, and then I read on the thing, and it said a minimum of 3 units per building. So you're going 2 and 4?
Yes, that was
So-
approved by the ZBA.
Okay, so they cut it down from 3 to let that one,
They
yeah.
did two, instead of 2 3s, they did a 2 and a 4.
Okay, all
For a
right.
total of
So that's been run through the mill?
Yeah, this was permitted for the mill before, and
Okay.
all they're doing is reapplying now.
All right, and then, in the drainage, what did you say they changed with the drainage?
No, the drainage stayed the same. So we
Okay.
have all the roofs and the driveway go to an underground infiltration system.
Okay,
And then if that overflows, you have an interceptor trench that goes to this infiltration basin. So,
okay,
the natural drainage for the site was to this low area near your house. Yes, we know that holds water.
mm-hmm,
And that, we have to design so we're not increasing runoff from the site. That's why you have these large
yep, okay,
infiltration systems.
all right.
And
And
that was
then-
peer reviewed by the town and the peer review agent at the time, Quinn
Okay.
Engineering, and just
All right.
recently reviewed by Graves Engineering.
Okay, and then, yeah, and like you said, if this gets messed up here, back here, these people over here, I understand, flood out pretty good.
Yeah, we're
'Cause
not
it's-
in the map flood zone. And again, we know this is a wetland and it has an intermittent stream that flows from a pond up there and goes
Yep.
through. So there's a whole drainage channel in that backyard.
Yep.
And we're just one part of it. But
Okay.
that's why we can't increase runoff off the site.
All right, so it's all going back into the ground,
Yes,
All
being
right.
infiltrated, yeah.
okay. And they're gonna have town water, town sewer,
Town water and sewer.
okay. How are they, any heating, underground propane, were they,
No, I believe it's electric.
all heat pumps?
I'm not sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else from the audience? Ron, I believe you had a question?
Did you said, I think, underground garage? Or did you mean under the apartment, under the apartments
It's just
themselves,
built
but
in.
not, you wouldn't be able to go underground there?
No, it's not, I'm sorry, I may have this phrase, it's just a garage under.
And how far down did you say the groundwater was?
The highest estimated groundwater, so that would be modeling a redox, was at 55 inches. Observed groundwater was between 88 and 100 inches below ground.
How does that relate to elevation? The infiltration system has to be required to have at least a 2-foot separation of groundwater. So we're at, the test pit here was about 9 feet below existing grade, the groundwater. What's the elevation, 576?
579. And then The one closest to the wetland side here, 2, which is at about 575. That had estimated groundwater they had weepage at 98 inches.
So what is the elevation of the wetland out in the back? Do you have that?
Yes,
Like
this wetland is-
halfway between where your hand is and Bryn Mawr Ave?
This wetland here, this is the edge that's delineated.
But then it goes
That's
back.
at elevation 574.
I'm just wondering why it's 574 and, yeah, in the test pit, yeah, down 9 feet before you hit water.
8 and change. 8 and change. I just can't- did it on my calculator.
That's been a swamp as long as I've been here.
Do we know what the high water elevation is in those wetland areas in the spring, an actual elevation?
Approximately 571 in here, and it's hard to tell in here, but 573 probably. Because the wetland is up on there's a bit of a bank in here, and this as well. This looks like maybe they historically excavated out gravel, because it's all beautiful sand and gravel in these test pits. And that's why you have that deep bowl there. As the abutter mentioned, it does get a couple feet of water in the spring.
Do you have a location where that empties, that wetland?
This one?
Yeah, the whole back.
So there's a ponded area to the south. This is Dartbrook Res way over
Yep.
here. Along Bryn Mawr, there's a drainage area here and a pond. An intermittent stream cuts through this area. I believe it runs all the way down here. Then I think that might be where it culverts across the street. But there is an intermittent channel in this area that drains that wetland.
Kind of where the swamp ends on the north end of Bryn Mawr, where it ends. There's no brooks running through anybody's place there. It might be, I must be piped underground.
Yeah, it's thick. When I flagged this, I had to walk in, get kind of trip over it, but you can kind of see the channel here, where it comes in. And I can't make out the rest of the channel just because of the darkness of the photo there, but you can see the supporting the pond here. But, let's see if I have profile. So the infiltration chamber is it's a shallow unit underneath the pavement, 30 inches deep, so, and by DEP, they're required to have at least a 2-foot separation.
So groundwater's 3 feet down lower than that.
Yes. 2 feet below the bottom of the infiltration system is the minimum required.
Marquez, you have any questions?
Couple of questions. One is on so maybe just for us, the ZBA review, has that been completed?
Oh, yeah.
October
No.
20th.
Okay. And then, just looking at the plan again, are there parking spots outside of outside of the garage? There?
Yes, let me go back to. So each unit has a garage under, and then a parking spot in front of each unit. And those were just increased from the 18 and a half that was done in 2016 to 21 feet.
Each unit only has one space outside the garage.
Each one has one outside and one inside, yes, correct.
That's on the driveway, right, essentially?
And then it has a 24-foot wide drive. And then we just added the turnout that Gray's requested.
One other question was on the sprinkler. So does each unit does each unit come with sprinkler system?
The four unit is sprinklered, the 2 unit is not. And the fire department requested that we just put a note on the plan that the 4 unit by code has to be sprinklered, the 2 unit does not.
Ron, anything else?
No, not yet.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I apologize. We don't have the same plan that you have here. I think we have an older version, because we're not seeing some of the stuff that you're pointing out. Can you point out where the fire lane is that you said the fire department requested?
Right, yep. They asked that we dedicate this side with the striped, and then we've added the R71 no parking signs along there.
I did not notice it on the plan. It just says site distance typical. Did you actually do a site distance analysis in terms of coming out of the
Yeah,
driveway?
site distance was done back into the 2016 and 17. Which sheet are you looking at? And I just dropped off Adam the new revised plans today, so.
On our plan, I'm looking at C4.
Oh, C4?
Yep. It just says site distance typical.
Oh, yeah, that was the planting and landscape plan. They just had the site distances shown on there. That was requested back in 16.
So do you know the distance
Let's see. I
you
don't.
have coming
I
at
know-
that point?
I know it passed muster, so I don't know the distance.
Is that in an older report, perhaps, that we can put our hands on? Okay, thank you. Also, where you're putting in your driveway, there's currently a sidewalk. What's your plan to restore the sidewalk? You also have a crosswalk, and
Yeah, there's a
That
crosswalk,
location.
the sidewalk ends here, and there's a crosswalk here.
so the sidewalk, if you actually go out to the site, I believe, crosses over and heads towards the police department on that side.
Yeah, and then the sidewalk picks back up on this side, yeah, it's
Yep.
kind of
So
a
you-
strange setup.
Are you restoring the sidewalk through the site, or are you,
We're not destroying the sidewalk, it ends here at the crosswalk. So it's right here, comes down and stops. So we're just tying into the existing edge of pavement. And then this is the edge of pavement that goes into North Oxford, Old North Oxford Street. And then the sidewalk ends here in the island.
okay, so perhaps I'm looking at an older version of Street View, but that sidewalk continues towards the police department according to the Google Street View. It ends at the intersection, and then it picks up across.
Right, yeah, this sidewalk does go all the way down
Right,
to the
but
police
if you
station.
actually come to the crosswalk arrow,
I guess I'm a little confused, I'm sorry. So, yeah, we have sidewalk here,
right, so existing crosswalk right here,
yeah,
which is right there.
yeah.
If you look and you span over, heading towards the police department, that sidewalk continues this way. This continues at the intersection and then picks up again. So this is your pedestrian path to travel. So are you maintaining that?
I don't know, that's a question I will find out, because I believe that is the end of the sidewalk right there. It just dead ends.
Right, so are you disrupting this, are you removing this, or are you
No,
continuing?
we're
it?
just tying into where the edge of the pavement is.
You're tying into where the edge of the pavement? You're
Yes.
not
No, we're not
removing the
disturbing
sidewalk
that,
at
no.
all? Not
No,
disturbing it?
this is all staying.
Yep,
That pavement is staying.
okay. Are you disturbing the,
Nope,
you're not disturbing
no, we're
that?
tying, our tie-in is right here.
Okay,
Yep,
so you're not
no,
disturbing in what's there?
no.
Okay.
Anything else, Todd?
No.
That's it?
For now.
I have a few questions. One is that you're going to be feeding 6 units off a 1 2-inch water line?
No, if I go to the utility plan,
It shows on the plan.
let's see. Utility plan. No, there's a 6-inch water going to the 4 unit, and then there's another 2-inch line coming in here,
Is that changed from your first rendition?
and then there's
I'm
a
looking at
separate
it right
water.
now, and it shows 2 inches going to the first unit toward Oxford Street.
Right, there's a 2-unit going to the, 2-inch to the 4 unit, a 2-inch to here, and a 6-inch for the fire sprinkler on the 4 unit.
See that on the plan? Because on the utility plan on C3.01, you show a tap and sleeve and valve with an 8x2 reducer, and then a 2x2 T. So I don't know where your 6-inch line's going in. I don't see it.
Right here on this corner of the building, there should be a 6-inch, shows a 6-inch line.
That must have been added, because it's not on this plan.
Maybe he had it shut off, I'm sorry, but the new plans that were submitted, that's the same plan you're looking at here. Yeah, there's a 6-inch for the sprinkler, and then a separate 2-inch line, and then a separate 2-inch line to the other 2 unit.
So in running the separate 2-inch line, does that run into like the first unit and then run through all the units off of that? Or do you bring the 2-inch line down and put each unit on its own service?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. It looks like it's being fed just with the 2-inch line that was,
I don't think you can feed one apartment to the other on the same line. I don't think that's code. Same with the sewer.
no, the sewer, they all have their own lateral out with a clean out in front in the driveway.
That leads to my next question. Which way does the sewer flow on Oxford Street, north or south?
I would say south, because that's the slope
Well,
is going down
If it flows
that
south, you've
way.
got a problem, because where you're tying in, that Y is backwards.
That may be a drafting, I mean, we followed what the town asked us for in 2016-17, and
Well, that should be, where that Y is right there, that flow should be going toward the word that says north on North Oxford Street. If it goes the other way, you're going to be entering 6 units into a main backwards. You can't do that. I'm surprised, has this been by the sewer department yet? 'Cause I'm surprised they're not making you put a manhole in the street and running an 8-inch line in instead of a 6-inch line for 6 units.
yeah, they had us add a manhole right off the edge of the right-of-way right there.
Well, I see that, but I'm surprised they didn't make you add a manhole in the road. Because that line should be 8-inch, not 6-inch, for 6 units. Look at it this way, if you had a dead-end street with 3 houses on each side, you would not run a 6-inch line up with 6-inch Ys. It would be an 8-inch line with 6-inch Ys. That's standard.
I'll get that answered for you.
So as it is right now, you plan on coming off a Y off of the main and putting a manhole inside the property, 6-inch. I don't know how that
Yeah, there's a
flies.
separate manhole just off the right-of-way, and then a
Right,
separate,
what I'm
another
saying
man.
is, it's from that manhole to the main in Oxford Street is 6-inch line, it's not an 8-inch line. It's a 6-inch service that was put in back in 1978. You know, it should be transite pipe in there. My next question is, on your paving schedule, on page C5.00, your table is kind of messed up because it says concrete walk, it looks like half-inch and half-inch, and then concrete road, passenger car parking area, half-inch, half-inch, and then the concrete road, truck and heavy traffic is 2.5 inch and a half an inch. No one puts down a half an inch of paving. Not first coat, not second coat.
Which detail are you looking at?
I'm looking at, you're on page C5-00, your table, right there on the right-hand side of the page, shows you all your depths, right there where your hand is.
Yep.
You're showing half-inch and half-inch.
No, that's 1.5, it's just
That's not what it says.
oh,
It's out of the,
yeah.
It's out of the Excel part of the thing.
Yeah, that's,
Drop down, but it doesn't show inch and a half. It shows half inch, 2.5 and a half inch.
yeah, that's,
The heavy wood should be 2.5 and inch and a half.
yeah, it's just,
Be 2 an
I
inch and
think
a
that's
half.
just a typo, but we'll get that fixed.
So the only portion that should be 2 inch and inch and a half should be the actual driveway from your separation, and the rest of it should be the 2.5 and inch and a half. Because you'll have heavy trucks going in there for repairs or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Not a constant traffic flow, but still, the driveway won't take it plowing, not gonna be little trucks.
Yeah, he's got heavy traffic, 12-inch, 2.5, yeah, and that's supposed to be 1.5, that's a mess up.
Yeah, it just says 1.5, you can't see the ones.
We'll get the detail fixed.
Okay. Rest of the details look pretty good. On your catch basins, are you gonna put hoods in them or not? I didn't see that on the detail.
Oops. Catch basin, contact. Yeah, it says orifice, plate, and hood.
You gotta put storm scepters?
That's the
in?
contact, yeah, storm scepter, yeah.
Okay, and what do you have, 2 catch basins or 3 catch basins on site? It's hard, we only have the mini plant, so it's hard for me to,
I know, yeah, the full-size plans are over there. So let's see, he's got a storm scepter unit here. Then he's got another DMH there, which is a deep sump with a storm scepter. And
there's 2 catch basins on the whole site?
down in that corner. Then there's
One
another,
down by your-
there's another catch basin there.
Yeah, there's one up by the left-hand corner, between right near the corner of both buildings, and your other one's down there at the outlet of your infiltration
The
unit.
infiltration, yeah. Yeah, everything's pitched to drain down to these, the 2 units down here with the storm scepter units.
On the catch basins, on the utility plan, I don't see a rim elevation, maybe just I can't see it. I see invert elevation.
It's on sheet C3, the grading and drainage plan. That has all the rims and inverts. I believe.
And the first, you have a drain, the roof drains come out of the units, the 2 apartment unit, and that goes into 1 manhole, correct? Be the top left side, right where the 2 corners meet of the 2 buildings. Yeah, right in there, there's a catch basin, I believe that's a catch basin. And that's where you show it looks like I can't tell, it's a roof drain or, but I'm assuming your
Okay,
roof
you've got
drains.
a foundation drain. It's supposed to be- Or is that RD? Yeah, FD. Comes out and ties in. Then you've got a line coming out here into the DMH1 before it goes into the infiltration system.
I just can't see the rim elevation. Catch basin, 579.6. There isn't a ton of pitch between the first unit, or the 2-unit toward the bottom of the page, and where it goes into the little detention base, which is only 2 feet deep. Well, the driveway actually pitches from the roadway to the house by a 1/10, according to your finished floor elevation and your elevation near the road.
Yeah, the catch basin, that's the low spot there, it's at 579.8. So this pitches down slow to here. The driveway from that unit pitches down to these two. And that's the top of that catch basin's at 579.8, so it's 4/10 below.
Do these units, are these built on slabs? No cellars?
No, I don't believe there are any cellars, I believe they're slab.
That's all I had for now. Anyone else? What's that? Go ahead, Ron.
Are these units, will they be individually owned or one owner who rents to the other people?
I'm not sure of that. I believe the goal would be, it'd be individual owners, but I can get that answered for you.
Any other questions? Oh, gentleman over here on the, yeah, you gotta go back up, re-identify yourself. Give your address again.
So, something I'd like to address. When the groundwater was measured for this property, it was done during the middle of summer. I would like to really see where the groundwater is during the seasons where the town of Auburn does not care when we're watering our lawns. Because during the middle of summer, it really doesn't matter where the groundwater is. It's not going to be impactful on us neighbors. However, during the seasons where the groundwater is going to change, it will be severely impactful.
When they bring out the
Thank you.
PE to dig the test pits, to check for groundwater, they can tell the high spot of the groundwater by the ground. Believe it or not, they can. They don't have to do it in the spring.
It's done by what's called induction modeling.
Right, it used to be back in the day, you couldn't dig a test pit for a perk test or anything after March and April. Now they can do it year-round because they can, their technology is so good, they can model it and tell you exactly where the high water level mark was that spring, and where it's constantly like that in the spring. They can tell. You're welcome.
Uh, 410 Oxford Street. So 9 feet between the groundwater and the elevation they're going to build, we're looking for, or? Because I don't think there's 9 feet. This corner here and that wetland there, I don't think there's 9 feet. Is that what they were saying?
No.
The corner of this house is at 577. The
Yeah.
wetland is down here at 573.
4-foot difference.
So it's about 4 feet from this corner down.
Okay, and that's enough? So the groundwater isn't the same as the level of the wetland?
No, not always, no. No, the groundwater, especially in a gravelly soil like this, it's usually fairly flat and consistent, but everything kind of drains the way, there's a divide farther up the street. Some of the drainage goes that way, and the rest comes back down towards the police station.
Yeah, because I don't think, all right, so the groundwater isn't the same as the level of the water where it is in the wetlands?
No. A lot of times it's close, and when we, auger through, but again,
I think the confusion might be,
this is 8 feet above that wetland.
right, I think,
There, right, but this isn't,
No,
isn't it?
I mean, is it? Yeah.
right, but we're infiltrating here. We had to design, like I said, DEP has certain requirements for where we can put our infiltration.
I
And it has to be a certain distance above the ground.
Right.
The corner of the house and the slab is 4 feet above that wetland, so.
Oh, okay, the infiltrator is where I got the 8 feet.
Yeah.
Right, but I think the confusion comes in where they want to know the groundwater elevation. What they really want to know is what the high water is there when it's in the spring versus the foundation floor of that house. The groundwater doesn't matter, because it's a slab.
That's why we have to show, they have estimated seasonal high groundwater. So
Not getting it either.
And he noted where either they saw steaming water in the test pit. So they may say, okay, that's at 100 inches. But if he sees what's called redox or modeling, which means that water in the spring is sitting up here and it leaves deposits on the soil, then that's what he estimates for the seasonal high ground. That's what they are held to by the Board of Health, by DEP. So even if it's a dry year and you don't even see groundwater, maybe you see a seep at 12 feet, your groundwater can be, several feet above that based on that model of redox material.
Anyone else in the audience have any questions? Anyone else on the board have any questions? May I have a motion to continue to our next meeting for October 11th?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. Thank you for your presentation. Pardon me? October 11th. That's the scheduled date. Next on our list at 7:05, which isn't 7:05 anymore. Applicant Shane Wood and Robin Payne requesting a site plan approval under section 3.2.3.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for daycare at 17 Curtis Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 12, parcel 1. May I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. It is a vote. The hearing is now open.
Good evening, Shane Wood and Robin Payne from 17 Curtis Street. We completed an application for an in-house preschool. This preschool is been inspected by the Massachusetts Department of Early Education and Care, the property. It has been accepted and approved as a suitable and safe environment for the children. They have granted a license that is acceptable up to 8 children under the license. Currently, the enrollment would look to be an average of just over 5 children per day. We're running right now a Monday through Thursday enrollment, and to look at there. Upon the application that we submitted, we did receive a couple of comments. One is on the parking, to ensure that we have suitable parking away from any driveways or other properties, of course. We submitted, which I'm sure is in there, the parking plan. So we have labeled out the specific parking areas. The hours right now are 8 to 4, and they will continue to be that. The drop-off is staggered between 8 and 8:30, and the pickup is staggered between 3:30 and 4. So the parking is suitable, as you see there, to avoid any interference with the other driveways or other, obviously, no property grounds that we're on there. The other comment that we got was by, I believe, the police chief as a recommendation to install security cameras. Having a preschool thought was a good idea, so that has been completed. We do have multiple security cameras on the property now that run 24 hours, the technology now to our phones to see what's there, but mostly just to capture if anything is needed there. So both of those have been completed.
Anyone in the audience have any questions?
Yes.
Please go to the mic and state your name and your address, please.
I'm Gary Gustafson. I live at 28 Curtis Street, directly across from the applicants. My concern is parking. I've experienced over the last year and a half, parking issues. The applicants have, I believe, 5 cars, and they have been parking the cars directly behind my driveway. At times, I've had to actually drive over my lawn. Now, in the wintertime, when the town plows the snow, where are they going to park these 5 cars? Because they're keeping their driveway open for the customers that are dropping off their kids. And furthermore, it concerns me, I've been a resident for 20 years, how these people can come in and put a preschool directly across the street in a residential area. They're going to get a check maybe for $100,000 a year. That's nice. Me, I have the parking issues. My property is devalued because I now have a preschool across the street. I just don't get it. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience have any questions or comments? Please go to the mic.
Kevin Moss, 1 Betty Street. Is preschool the same as the daycare, or?
Yes, my license is through the Mass Department of Early Education Care, and I'm licensed as family child.
My question is now, I'm around the corner on Betty Street from Curtis Street, and I've already been impacted by the new Montessori school around the corner. I mean, they've taken my street from a dead-end street now to a major thoroughfare going into the school and coming out, Packagug. And that traffic there, like Gary says, in the wintertime, is only one lane going down that road. You have to swing by a telephone pole. If you're coming out, there's a car parked down the street for the new neighbors there. You gotta swing towards the fire hydrant to get out and around. These daycares and stuff, they could be, I'm assuming they can be put up anywhere now. Or preschool, I mean, these are, I'm living on Betty Street because I'm in a residential, I want to be in a residential area without businesses. And all of a sudden, preschools are now, which I consider businesses, are impacting my residents up there. Somewhere this stuff's got to be stopped or some kind of regulations in planning here. I don't know if there's time to ask this stuff, but the last one, I didn't speak up during COVID because I thought they might be really, some kind of problem in getting daycares there. But then once they made it into a profit center, I have a problem with it.
May I make a clarification just to make it clear? So I do operate as a preschool, but and the reason I call it a preschool, I'm still licensed as a family child care, in-home child care. I operate as what I call a preschool, and basically, and that's the age of children that I care for. So it doesn't change how many kids I can care for. It's the age group that I care for. So even if I were, I just wanted to make a clarification, the difference between family child care and preschool, so people understand what that means. The amount of children that are in my care on a daily basis doesn't change if I operate as what's called a preschool or a family child care. I just take kids that are of preschool age, so I don't have infants or babies or toddlers or anything like that. So that's just to clarify the difference there. I don't know who understands that difference or not.
What is the age?
My age span of the children that I care for are ages 3 to 5.
Now, as far as where they can go, that's up to the zoning board, that's not up to us.
I thought I might hear that.
Huh? By the state.
It's actually the state.
About this,
Oh.
and
I stand corrected, it's by the state.
It's actually the
It's out
Commonwealth.
of our hands, it's the Commonwealth of,
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts
The
actually
Department
licenses
of
them.
Early Education and Care are the ones that license me. It's through the state.
Now, didn't the building inspector get involved in this? Because he did unpackage it.
Yeah, we got a complaint about parking, which triggered this whole process. To clarify, or add to Todd's comment, we can't limit where daycares go. We can do site plan approval, but we can't, according to the state Attorney General, we can't limit daycares to a certain area of town. So we're allowed to do site plan approval, and that's to address these types of concerns, try to limit them.
nothing you can do about stop. I mean, how many preschools do we have around here, guys?
Don, I don't know the answer to that, you'd have to talk to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that's out of our hands, unfortunately.
Well, are they businesses, or are they,
I don't know what to classify it as, I would assume it would be a business, but I don't know if it meets the criteria for a business zone.
yeah, well, that's what they're for, business, commercial.
So, not to be flippant or anything, how many people work from home here? How many people work out of their homes?
4 out of 5 days.
Okay, is that a business? Then how can they be working in their home if it's a business? This is the conundrum that we have.
Yeah, I understand that, that's why I'm here.
Right.
Because I'm saying, somewhere this stuff's gotta stop. I mean, I moved into a territory, a residence, that was all houses, single families, dead-end streets. That's what I wanted the privacy. Now what's happening is people are moving into those territories and saying, what a great neighborhood, what a great neighborhood for a preschool, what a great neighborhood to put somebody else's kids all around my yard, impacting my traffic, my getting in, getting out of the house. I mean, you know, I'm not sure if I'm bitching or just saying, hey, where do we go to bring somebody's attention? I started with planning board because I just had to get
Selectman?
an invite by you folks to come
State
and
governs daycares.
talk about it.
You can't limit daycares in a particular.
You probably have to talk to your state rep or state senator on that one, because it is done by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, not the town of Auburn. The town of Auburn doesn't have any say where a daycare can go. The only thing we can do is make sure that the site plan is okay. That's it.
Where's the parking in the site plan?
It's in the driveway, but what they're gonna do is they're staggering. They're not gonna be cars parked there all day. They're gonna come in, drop the kids off, and leave. And then in the afternoon, what's that?
What happens in the wintertime when it's snowing?
Go to the microphone, please, so we can have the meeting minutes taken.
Suzanne Gustafson, 28 Curtis Street. We live across the street from them.
Can you go over to the mic, please?
Suzanne Gustafson, 28 Curtis Street. We live across the street from them. They have cars constantly parked in the street that do not move, okay? There used to be like 4. 2 of them would totally block our driveway. And my husband asked one of the customers one day, please tell them not to park and block our driveway.
Time out. Customer for what?
They come and they
They can't have customers yet. They're not an approved daycare. They're not in business yet. It hasn't been they can't have kids there yet.
They've been operating.
Really?
Actually, if I may interrupt.
Jesus. You got your...
Excuse me, sir, may I speak? I am open, I opened in November of 2020. I do have a business certificate signed off from the town. I do have a license from the state of Massachusetts. When I got my business certificate from the town, hit the computer, it was during COVID. The town hall was closed. I did file for a business certificate. I do have a copy of it. It's notarized from November 11th of 2020.
That's fine, but
I did ask what else needed to be done when I did this. Nobody ever guided me towards this.
I'm sorry to hear that, because every other daycare that's come in front of the planning board, they all had to go in front of the planning board. There's one on Packagug Street at 410 Packagug Street.
Yes,
There's one on James, Jerome Ave.
right.
That had to come before the planning board for parking, site circulation, and all
The
that.
only thing I can say to you, sir, is I believe it was during COVID. Everything was closed. The town hall was closed. I picked up my paperwork at the kiosk that was outside the town hall, and my business certificate was mailed to me. I wasn't allowed to come in here for anything. I did ask when I filled out all this paperwork with my business certificate, what else needed to be done.
Well, you didn't have to come into the town hall. The kiosk was open every day.
I understand, but when I ask what else do I need to do to register my business and what else do I need to do, and nobody told me
I don't know who
anything.
you spoke to, but no one spoke to the planning board.
I know, I understand you didn't have the information, but I didn't know either.
This is kind of after the fact, so if the board so chooses to give this the okay, you guys got to be better neighbors. You can't leave your cars parked across my driveway. I deal with it every day on my own dead-end street. Drives me insane. If you got 5 cars, find a spot on the side of your driveway, on your lawn or whatever, pave it, park your cars there, and use the driveway for your parking in and out. That'll solve the problem on the street. And if your car's on the road in the wintertime and it snows, it gets towed.
Sure.
And they are not on the road in the wintertime, and
So yeah, you see in the parking plan, we have those areas on the grass as well that are cleared out for the winter. You have, it's suitable parking without anything probably within 30 yards of a driveway.
You have a big driveway there, it could probably handle 10 cars.
Yeah, no doubt, yep.
But I would suggest that if you're gonna,
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it, not to cut you out, a lot of it is the communication, right? So we have now presented this to all of the families, as well as incorporated this into the handbook. So it's a year-over-year mandate that this is the parking area for this environment. So.
and how many children? 5?
I'm licensed for up to 8 a day. The max I've had is 6 a day. I've capped my personal enrollment just for my purposes.
But you could go to 8.
I could if I chose to, yes.
So it's 8 cars, it's 16 cars total a day. I don't know how you're gonna get 8 cars in and out in half an hour.
It's particularly quick. I can show you my sign in and sign out of when the drop-off and pickups are. It's staggered throughout a half hour in the morning and a half hour in the afternoon. There's never 8 families picking up or even 6 families at the same time.
John, I have a question if,
Sure.
Russell, so one question, Robin, how many employees do you have?
Just myself, sir.
And so you have 5 cars on the property at all times, is that?
No, we have 5 children, and 4 of them are teenagers, and 3 of them do drive, plus our vehicles.
Is there any plans to expand your driveway or extend it further?
We've talked about it. It is extremely costly, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities. It's definitely something we've looked at.
Go ahead, Ron.
So what do we do? So we're supposed to permit site plan approval, never got.
You got approved by the state. I don't know what to do.
Let's say, Adam, are they supposed to have planning board approval and then state approval?
No, state first.
State usually first. This one only just slipped through. That's why we didn't get it at a time.
So what happens if the state approves and the planning board doesn't?
We can't deny it. You can only do the conditions of the site plan. It's allowed in the district. You can add the conditions that you normally add.
You can add a condition saying they know the parking the public way, those types of things, but you can't.
That'll be a condition. That'll be a condition.
Can we add, like enforcement of parking? Is that, that's not under jurisdiction?
So on average, how many families are there during pickup and during drop-off at one time?
I would say maybe 3 at a time.
And are they all single children, or are they multiple children per family?
Single children.
They're all
Yep.
single
I don't
right
have
now.
multiple siblings, if that's what you're getting
Yeah,
at.
yeah, that's what I was
No, I don't have
wondering.
any siblings,
Yeah, I'm
no.
just trying to figure out how
Yeah.
many cars are
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
Anyone else in the audience? Sure, you have to go up to the microphone, identify yourself again, please.
Kevin Moss, 1 Bay Street again. If you do grant a permit for this, okay, she moves out, he moves out, next day the center comes in. What's to stop them for doing the same thing, but only having 16 kids instead of 20, or maybe instead of 6?
If they sell the house, and Todd, you probably can correct me if I'm wrong, if someone else comes in and wants to do a daycare, they gotta go through the whole permit process with the state. They just can't come in and start a daycare.
Correct.
That many children in a home.
Right.
It's against the law.
Yeah.
The most that you could ever have is 10. I don't have the square footage, it's nothing I'm interested in. There would never be a daycare center like when you're referring to the Montessori school around the corner from you. There's not enough square footage, I'm an in-home program, it's not an option, there's no license for that.
So if your concern is that Montessori would move in there, let's say they move out of Montessori, that would have to go through the zoning board of appeals. That's an actual business. That's not an in-home childcare. In-home childcare gets the license through the state. They're limited to 10 children maximum. But that's a rather large area. It's not even the entire square footage of the house. It would have to be the square footage of the dedicated area within the house that they wouldn't have.
And the amount of children you're talking about, sir, changes the license from a family child care to a group care. And there's no chance that that would ever happen in a residential home. It's a very different type of license.
Additionally, the license is issued to her, it's not issued to the residential location. So the new family coming in, they would have to go through the entire licensing again, go through the entire process again, come for site plan review again.
Probably not for here, but with the Montessori school, they permitted and went through all the process to run the Montessori school.
I don't know when that,
I heard that just got passed through because there was something there beforehand.
I have no idea about the Montessori school. It never came before the planning board in the last 5 years that I've been here.
I gotta go someplace else, I understand.
Chair, one suggestion I have, one question.
Yes.
to Robin. I know you have an 8 to 8:30 and 3:30 to 4
Yes.
pickup and drop-off hours. Can that be extended?
It sure could.
Now, I'm just trying to think, if you give, I don't know how many minutes you give for each parent to drop off, but if that can be extended as a duration, then you don't have too many people waiting there?
Yeah, I definitely could absolutely do that. I don't give like specific minutes for drop-off. I've made it very clear that it is drop and go and pick and go. But I can reevaluate that if that's something that you think would make better sense. I do know that most parents are dropping off so that they can get off to work as well. So it really does revolve around maybe their work schedules, so that might be tricky to limit somebody, you get traffic, somebody's now 5 minutes behind, or whatever. Just thinking thoughts out loud.
Right, but on the flip side, that might just be a choke point for a lot of residents on the street, right? Between 8 to 8:30, you might just be seeing a lot of cars there. Yeah, I think, some conditions where that will help improve the parking. I think as residents, I think it is our responsibility to be good neighbors. So, we just need to make sure that our neighbors are fully comfortable with our parking arrangements.
Understood?
That's not cut and dry. We want to have a rule that says it's cut and dry, they have to have parking spaces, but they don't. Nothing to argue with, nothing to discuss with my neighbors, yes or no. If they have parking spaces, good. If they don't, it doesn't go there. You should make it cut and dry. Why do I have to answer it? It's not a good neighbor policy. It's whether you can do it or I can't do it. That's why we come to you guys.
The state granted them the license. We didn't grant them the license for an in-home care, childcare or preschool, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
We didn't grant them that. Like I said, if you got a problem with that, you got to go to your state rep or state senator. We have no authority over that, nothing. So, in my own mind, as a solution, it's going to wind up cutting your own throat. I can have them get no parking signs on both sides of the road that the town will approve. They'll pay to put them in, but then you can't park on the street either.
No.
You live around the corner, but this gentleman might.
Gentlemen,
No parking signs on both sides of the road?
We could do that. We got to make that as a condition.
Do it.
We make that as a condition, couldn't we?
I think before we
I think
start,
we would need to get DPWs and police departments input on that, because police would have to monitor it, and DPW would have to install and maintain, so that's, would need their input first.
I would also want to, better gauge their viewpoint of the other neighbors who are not here tonight on whether they want parking restricted on their street as well. Because that's going to
what I'm saying.
impact their access as well.
That's what I was saying. I mean, you
Yeah.
can put no parking signs up, but then it restricts everyone, not just the school.
As it is, their driveway is large enough, most likely, if they pack the cars tight, to fit their 5 cars and the 6 cars coming in the family.
And it's not just the driveway, sir, it's the lawn to the side.
This driveway is not big to handle 5 cars plus the drop-offs. That's why they park their cars on the street.
They
In the driveway for the drop-off.
They park their cars on the street out of convenience.
Right.
And the neighbors, and their, not the neighbors, their customers are parking, rather large out of convenience. But I can tell you right now, looking at this driveway, you could fit easily those 6 cars and the 5 cars that they have if they stagger them and park them.
It's insane. Their driveway is approximately 30 feet wide and maybe 30 to 35 feet long. And how are you going to fit 11 vehicles in there? Think about it.
That would be a square, right? Obviously, it's a much longer driveway than 30 feet by 30 feet, right? You can see it as a rectangle.
You
right
can see
in
it,
the
exactly.
picture, right.
So, and you're staggering, not all 6 cars are there
Correct.
at once. So I think one of the conditions that I would ask that we put on this is that any of their customers are not allowed to do pickup drop-off activity on the public way. Everything has to be
In the driveway.
in the driveway.
Again, yeah,
Which means you can't park your 5 cars on the street for the convenience of your customer.
okay.
So to be a good neighbor, I would say you got a lot of space on the left. I see a car on the left right now on the lawn. You could park your 5 cars over there while you know, what do you open Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday?
Monday through Thursday at the moment, but potentially Monday through Friday. So
Okay,
yes,
Monday
we
through
could
Friday.
certainly
So
do
Saturday
that,
and
sir.
Sunday doesn't matter, you can park your own cars in your own yard. But come Monday through Friday, you can't have 5 cars in the driveway and expect it, because I know what's gonna happen. The customer's gonna come up, they're gonna park on the road, they're gonna block his driveway, take the kid in, come out, talk to you for 10, 15 minutes, he's gotta get out for a doctor's appointment, or she does, they can't get out of the driveway, and then we're right back here again. So the onus is on you two to be really good neighbors.
Understood.
Yes. Go ahead, Ron.
I think you can see that from what Adam says to us, it's approved by the state, and it comes before us, but we're not allowed to deny it, okay? Because I think you could see that there'd be some serious concerns from all of us, okay? I probably might not vote for it, I think it's a good thing that you do, but I probably wouldn't, because I am extremely on the side of the neighbors that they bought those houses, the same as you could be those people, in a nice, real nice neighborhood, and didn't expect to have something like that there. And then Betty Street already being opened up to go down and facilitate the Montessori school. So I just think you have to be extremely cognizant and respectful of the wishes of the neighbors.
Absolutely.
Anybody else have any questions in the audience? You have to go to the mic and identify yourself again, your address.
So it's residential A, I take it now, that zone, where they are?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Believe so.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
I'd have to
so,
check
but, so that, it's a business, right? But it doesn't qualify as a regular business because it's daycare?
Not considered a business under state law. Under state law, it's an in-home educational facility.
They make money, but it's not a business?
Under state law, it's not considered a business.
And you can drive up. This is not, you know, doing work at home. People are actually driving up, and it's for profit. I mean, this is a business. Now, what do I get out of it? They get $100,000, I get a hit on my property value, and I get the traffic and the cars backed up in my driveway. This is plain wrong. This is plain wrong. In the winter, I'm disgusted.
Please identify yourself and give your address.
Kirsten Bean, I live at 42 Curtis Street. My teenagers have more cars than this business has. They're in and out, they're so quick. As far as being a good neighbor, they're good neighbors. Not so much. That's all I'm gonna say.
Understood. We cannot deny them the daycare, because that's regulated by the state. And I'll say it again, if you got a problem with it, you gotta go to the state regulators, and you gotta go to the state rep and the state senator. It's out of our hands. We don't control that. We don't. And it's an in-home daycare, which isn't considered a business by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That's out of our hands.
You know, I own 3 houses. I could very well rent this house out and cause a real problem. This is just plain, this is going in the wrong direction. I don't know what we're doing here in this country, but it's wrong.
I don't know about the country, we're talking about a daycare right here, right now, so we're not gonna get off the beaten path here.
I know. I know, you have no choice. We're screwed.
Yes. May I have a
Motion to close the public hearing.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, and I. The hearing is now closed. Now, as far as giving the approval with some conditions, we can do that. So, you had some good suggestions, Todd, as far as,
I mean, I would make the condition that any motor vehicles coming to the location that's related to the pickup and drop-off must be on site and not on the public way.
Ron, do you have anything else to add?
I'd just say that we look to Adam to talk with Joanna, the highway superintendent,
Yep.
an engineer, to see if they can install signs or what, you know, if you want to, I don't know how you check with the whole neighborhood.
The only thing you can really do up there, to be fair to everyone, is resident parking only. That's the only thing you can do to be fair,
Something.
something. But that has to go to the
Permit
DPW.
parking, yeah.
My other condition would be that, yes, you have to unload on-site in your driveway, but you can't have any of your private cars on the public way during the week while you're having the daycare. And you have to enforce that, and you have to enforce, and to be honest with you, I get frustrated with some of the things we approve here, and people say they're gonna enforce things, and nothing ever happens. I've seen it over and over again, and there's nothing I can do about it, but it drives me crazy. So I would say you have to be a good neighbor, you have to unload and load in your driveway, and no private vehicles parked on the road, summer, winter, spring, or fall. Is that fair?
Related to the business.
Related to the business.
You have family coming over on a Saturday.
That's a different story.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Yep.
gets,
So if we happen to have somebody come over to watch a football game on a Sunday and our
You're
neighbors are
fine.
taking pictures of their vehicle because they're parked on the street,
No.
that's something to be
He just,
concerned
you just
about?
made that condition that only during your daycare hours.
Okay.
I mean, like he just said, if you have a family gathering on a Saturday or a Sunday, I mean, it's public parking on the street. I can't tell you you can't park on the street. But I can put a condition on that you can't park your cars on the street during your working hours, which I think is fair.
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
You know, keep them happier and them happier. And I don't know what to say about the Montessori school. It's out of my hands. May I have a motion to approve with the conditions set forth?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ron?
Opposed.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. It is a vote. You will get a decision or a letter from you?
Did you
I don't
guys,
think he asked us, but I'll vote aye.
Aye as well,
I did.
with the condition, yeah.
You just went right to Ronnie.
Oh, no. He said aye, you said aye, and then I said, Ron, what about you?
just, well, make sure we got Rachel's proper minutes.
Correct. That's it. Thank you.
Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the amendments to the table of uses, section 3.2.2.3, apartments of the Auburn zoning bylaw. May I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Duarkesh. Ron?
Aye.
Please step back behind the lower part, please. You're in our space. All the way back before you open your mouth, please.
All I wanted to say is that your sound system is awful. It needs an upgrade.
Yeah, we have,
Muffled, I'm hearing an echo of my voice.
I hardly understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And I know because I ran the sound systems for some of the school buildings. Okay? Room acoustics is what it is. So I know what a good sound system is. All right?
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you. Next on the agenda, 710, amendments to the table of uses, section 3.2.2.3, apartments of the Auburn zoning bylaw. I'm going to go to this again. May I have a motion to open the hearing, please?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Aye.
Myself, aye. John Regan is an aye. It's all yours, Adam.
so the board may recall that you saw this
Yep.
in the spring. Basically, the state is telling us we need to allow apartments by right or with site plan approval in certain parts of the town in order to remain eligible for grant programs. The big one is MassWorks, that's the big one. There are two others also. So we're looking tonight for the board to either recommend approval to town meeting or not recommend approval. And I did put together a motion, so we get it. This does fall under the majority approval for zoning at town meeting because it refers to density instead of the usual supermajority. So that's why I kind of put that together, so we make sure we capture that.
May I have a motion to approve said amendment?
Close the hearing.
What's that?
Close the hearing.
May I have a motion to close the hearing, please?
You want to make the motion? I'll make the motion to close the hearing.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Opposed.
For closing the hearing?
Oh, no, not the hearing, I'm sorry, I thought we were voting on whether to...
No. Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Rodriguez, and aye, it is a vote. Now, Todd.
Yep. I move to recommend approval of the proposed zoning amendment to sections 3.2.2.3 apartments with a majority vote per chapter 358 of the Acts of 2020 by town meeting.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Opposed?
Aye.
Myself, John Rodriguez, and aye, it is a vote. Next on the agenda is applicant Richard Hakala requesting site plan approval under section 9.4 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a church at 188 Oxford Street North, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 17, parcel 211. Is there anyone here representing Richard Hakala? Okay, could you please make a presentation, please? State your name, your address.
Rafael Arujo, 188 Oxford Street. We just got the plans today. Richard's no longer with us. We had to terminate his employment, so we are hiring another architect, and we're going to represent our case before the board. We do have some plans right here. They're hard copies. The original, we got them today. It is an existing site, so we're not doing anything externally. We're just going to remodel inside, and it's going to continue to be a church. So the plans would be to have classrooms inside for the children.
Unfortunately, we cannot vote on this tonight because we haven't had a chance to look at the plans. They have to be in.
Right, that's why I said
That's
Richard's no longer
Thursday.
with us. We hire a new architect, and we're getting the paperwork ready, and we're gonna refile the motions. But I got a call from Adam last week or so, saying that we were scheduled to be here.
So would you like to continue this to our next hearing? That way you'll have time to get the plans in, we'll have time to review.
Yes, I would.
May I have a motion to continue this to our next hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Aye, John Regan is an aye. It is a vote. We will see you at the next meeting. Thanks for coming, we
When's the
appreciate
next
it.
meeting? 12?
Sorry you had to wait so long.
October 11th.
October 11th.
Okay, no, that's no problem. Thank you, guys.
Okay, next on the agenda, applicant Brendan Greeley requesting site plan approval under section 9.4 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a garage and site improvements to be constructed at an existing commercial business at 4 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 28, parcel 3, continued from 9/13/22. Is there anyone here representing Brendan Greeley? There being none,
They requested a continuance.
they have requested a continuance. May I have a motion to continue this to our next meeting on October 11th?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Aye, John Regan is an aye, it is a vote. Next on the agenda is applicant Todd Osterkolowitz, Quality Contracting Incorporated, requesting site plan approval under 9.4 and 3.2.5.7 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for 2 general service commercial buildings with site improvements. A waiver for landscape is requested at 282 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 25, parcel 25. This has been continued from our September 13th meeting. Is there any news from them?
He's on the computer.
He is, okay. I can't see plans on the computer, but,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Again, this is Zachary Gless from Existing Grade, representing the project. We did go through and make their requested changes. We're in agreement with everything that they asked for. And I think until kind of we get their response back, we'll kind of be sitting at that point with it.
Through the chair, could we, I emailed Zachary Glass a couple of times. I don't know if he got the email or not. I'd ask that he submit hard copies so the board can review them and so town administration can review them.
Yes. Are you
Yeah,
willing?
that I think was misunderstanding on my end. I've been printing all night to bring these over to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
So, did you wish to continue to our next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, may I have a,
I'll make the motion to continue to the next meeting.
may I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron? Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, is an aye. It has now been continued to our next meeting. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is modification, decisions, 385 Southbridge Street, Commerce Drive, 313 Washington Street, which I can't sign.
You don't have to sign, they can.
You don't have to sign it?
You weren't here.
Exactly. While that's being signed, meeting minutes of 9/13/2022. May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes as submitted?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, as an aye. It is a vote. New business unforeseen by the chair. I don't have any new unforeseen business. Member town planner update?
I don't have anything new.
Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for October 11th, 2022. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Todd?
Aye.
I myself, John Regan, is an aye. The meeting is now adjourned.